Hi guys. How you doing? I am super excited. Let me go ahead and get this set up for those of you who are joining. Um Good to see you. Okay. Give you guys a second to come on. All right. You always got to make sure everything is off. And I have a habit of not making sure everything is off before I start. So that is a really bad habit. But thank you guys for joining me today. Hi guys. Hey Rel. Hey Walter. How you guys doing? Make sure to go ahead and share this out because I'm excited. I get to talk to none other than Akissa Mendez from the group Allure. Who remembers Allure back in the day? Not even back in the day, honey, because the comeback is here and the comeback is real. Having just got off tour with SWV, I can't wait to hear these ladies just blow us all over again. There's just so much of just music that we're missing now, right? We're missing those love songs. We're missing that R&B. We're missing that music that just made you rock in a whole different way, right? So we're just so excited to get to know her in such a different way. She's such a beautiful person. I'm definitely enjoying her. Rel, is it me? I hear nothing. Rel, you can't hear me? You guys let me know if you're having issues hearing me. I hope you're not. I hope my volume is on. If it's not, send me a message and let me know. I think it's all the way turned up. Let's see. I'm guessing if no one can hear me, they'll go ahead and send me a message. But I think it's fine. Is it? Let's see. I hear you now. Okay. Rel, you need to get you made me stop the whole show just for you. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So it's amazing. We're going to have Akissa on. I can hear you. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much. All right, so let's get to talk with Akissa. Akissa Mendez, born in Spanish Town, Harlem, moved to the Bronx, New York, has a beautiful 25-year-old daughter whose birthday, by the way, is next week. So we definitely have to say happy birthday to this beautiful young lady. She also helps to take care of her grandson who's 11 years old and autistic. And that'll be interesting for all my mothers out there who are dealing with autistic children. I know a lot of you are. Maybe you can get some tips from her on how to deal with that, especially with a busy schedule. Like I said, Ms. Mendez just got off tour, touring with SWV. I think they were in New Zealand and Australia, and currently she's getting her claws into acting, and she's just doing so much. We're also going to speak to her about overcoming depression and how she was able to actually deal with that, which we know is not an easy feat, especially with the shutdown and everything that's going on right now. So many people are suffering from that. So I don't have claps like my fancy co-host on his radio show. So I'm just going to clap for her myself as we welcome her on. Maybe sometime I can, do the whole clap. But yay, here she is.
I have to learn your clap. Hi, beautiful one. Cheers. Because Lord knows we had a little feat before this, right?
Listen. Sometimes this happens and we just gotta, like they say, the show must go on, and you know about that better than anyone else does. So here we are. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What does the Bronx look like nowadays with all this craziness?
Chaotic, a whole bunch of people not listening, just walking around all willy-nilly. But I mean, for the most part, it's been pretty calm. Everybody's just trying to like adjust. You know what I mean? Like getting
Yeah.
used to having to wear gloves and wearing masks, and then you have to come in and literally take your clothes off, take a shower, wash your stuff. It's a lot, you know. It's a lot. It puts a lot on your mental. But you know, like we said before, we're just taking it one day at a time, hoping to just be clear of this, hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah, because it is a lot to deal with, especially for people right now that are not used to being in those like confined spaces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just excited to talk to you. I'm excited to get to know you. Look, I don't even drink, but I had to go.
I know. You needed it. We both did after today, right?
We had to get through this.
Crazy.
So you know what? I'm gonna jump right in there because I want to know all about it. Because I've always wanted to be in a girls group.
Oh, really?
Can't sing. Look, I can't sing a lick. Right?
I heard you earlier, by the way.
In my heart and in my mind, I'm humming the tune and I'm dancing to it. I'm grooving to it. So I don't know.
Better be careful because I heard you. If you come to a show, we pulling you up on stage. You already know how we do.
I'm coming. Just to blow some people away.
I know, right? Hopefully we can get back to the stage. Jesus.
Oh my God. So I want to, because you started with Allure at a really young age. You were in high school. So you were at that puberty age, that young age, and here it is, you're going into a super group and your life is completely changed. But I want to talk to the Akissa before that. What she was doing, where was her mind? Did you know that you always wanted to be an artist? Did you come out the womb singing?
No, I mean, we found out when I was at a very young age that I could hold a tune. I always loved music because my family was very much musically inclined. Okay. That's all I ever heard. When we were growing up, families got together. I grew up listening to a lot of doo-wop, a lot of Motown. So I knew the idea of what groups were and, you know, music and putting together bands and shows. And I was like very much into it. But when I was younger, I actually started off dancing.
Oh, wow.
My aunt, there was I remember this little tiny dance school that was on 106th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue in Spanish Harlem. Oh my God. I wish my sister was here to tell me her name. I think that the woman's name was Miss White, I think. But she had a little dance school. And I remember being like probably 5, maybe 5 or 6 in a tutu. And my aunt, I think, was the person that had us going to this dance class. So like dance became like my first love. So I did that from a very young age up until I was about probably 14, like right before junior high school. Where I joined, like we had like Alvin Ailey classes. We had like repertory dance company. Shout out to Kathy Yelverton and Al Smith. But then, you know, throughout the years, even through that, my mom and all our moms used to always have us singing all the time in the house. You know, and it was just kind of a thing that we picked up because we love music so much, you know. But to think that I ever had aspirations of being a singer, to be an artist, no. I never even imagined it until I met the girls. And then it was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Then it made sense. Then it all came.
It made perfect sense after that.
Okay, so maybe I just haven't met my super group yet. Okay, that's good.
That's what it is.
So you go ahead and you meet the other girls. You're at such a young, impressionable age. Yeah. Did you talk to your mom? Did you tell her, like, I'm joining a group, I want to sing? What did that look like?
Yeah, well, my mom actually was the one. Well, first, we've known each other since we were very young. And once our parents saw that there was some type of itch there or some type of talent as far as singing, that's when the push started. Our parents, they were like, look, you guys are playing too much. We hear you guys singing all the time. And it was, you know, it was very obvious for all of us that we could sing. And it wasn't until then when we started forming, you know, our group or whatever. And the group went through a lot of changes from the very beginning. Like my older sister was actually in the group at one point. We had a couple of friends from school. But then when we all formed, we were just like, okay, then it got to the 4 of us at that time, which was me, Leah, Lalisha, and the ex-member, Lenny. And that was where we pretty much solidified the group. And my mom was actually still alive at the time when we were going through like the whole, like the label hunts where they take you to go sing for, and that was another story in itself. I was pregnant at the time, actually with my daughter.
Oh my God.
I was 18, and we went to go sing for Andre Harrell at Uptown. And when I tell you that audition, every time we went outside to the bathroom or we were at home, it was like pitch perfect. The nerves that day came over us so bad that when we went in there, we sound like 4 howling dogs. It was bad. It was so bad. I promise you, it was so bad. And we were like, "What the hell is going on? What the hell's going on?" But you know, we had so many situations that happened. We realized that situation just wasn't the right one, and maybe that's why God was like, "Listen here, we're gonna Ursula your voices because this ain't it." You know, so that was a blessing in itself. But yeah, my mom was around during the very beginning, but unfortunately, I lost her right before we got signed, so she never had a chance to see it happen. Yeah, she didn't have a chance to see it happen.
But she's watching over you every step.
Yeah, I believe that.
Every step. Yeah. So I got a clip. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop it up there because you know I'm a fan because that was my song. Look, oh, cried. I'm not gonna sing it now. I'm not gonna embarrass
myself. I heard you earlier. Don't worry, I have it here because I heard you.
Well, I wonder if you would just build a little tune for us later. See if I can convince you for that. just a little something. Just a little something. So I love this clip that I saw. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop it up, and so everyone can see the greatness of Allure. All right, so we're gonna go away. I'm clapping too. I'm clapping too. Just like Norman says, I could be the 4th member. I'm in. I'm in there. I'm in there. I'm in there.
Real soon.
I'm in there. Yes. So what was it like touring? Now, how did that work out with school? Because being a teenager, you're still in high school, but here it is, your career is about to take off in such a big way. Were you ready for that responsibility?
Not really. It was something that, like, again, that we had to adjust to. When we finally got signed, we were pretty much coming out of high school.
Okay.
So we were like just about to finish and stuff, and then me being the only one that had the baby coming, you know, I had to basically leave school because when we were in school, we were a bunch of clowns. We weren't doing what we were supposed to, quiet as kept, but we all ended up just finishing high school first, and then literally went from high school straight to touring.
Okay.
Which was another thing. So, you know, the album happened first, and I think my daughter was about maybe 2 when we first had to like really get out there. I remember our first time in Japan, she had just turned 2.
Wow.
You know, so, and that was like it was nerve-wracking to say the least, because I remember having to leave to go to the airport, and she was so used to always being with me that when I got in the cab to go to the airport, she was like getting ready to get in the cab, and I'm like, "No, baby, you can't go. You have to stay with Titi." And she had this face like, "Well, what do you mean? Like, I'm your sidekick." When I tell you, it was like a movie. I'm at the back of the cab, like, and she's like, "Mama," and she's screaming, and I couldn't take it. And and the first time we went to Japan, it was fun, but when we first got there, we were so homesick, so homesick.
Wow.
Like, we didn't even give it a chance yet. Yeah, we were in our hotel rooms like, what is this shit? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like, literally, we're like, what do we do with this? Because it was so different. But then, after getting around and going sightseeing and the label people coming and taking us out and taking us around to see like the culture and stuff, we got adjusted. But it was crazy. It was crazy just even being able to travel somewhere that I never ever imagined I would ever go, on top of everywhere else that we've been. It never imagined in my life ever.
And then to be so young, you know what I mean? And here it is, you have this amazing, everyone, because it's different what people see on the outside, right? Yeah. Than what really happens, because they see the fame, but they don't see the story. They don't see the struggle with that. They don't see the sacrifice that comes with that. What are some of those sacrifices that you've had to face, those obstacles, besides, of course, you're a young mom, you have your daughter, you want to be able to spend as much time with her, but I'm sure life for you just completely changed to be so young.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think even when I had my daughter, when I had Ori, for me, that was the biggest thing, having to constantly leave her, and spend so much time. I mean, like weeks, sometimes a month at a time, where I barely saw her. And even for the girls too, like, leaving their families, like we were always so family oriented, all of us. So like not seeing up, the moms and everybody else and the siblings. Right. And then even now that we're all moms, and now I'm a grandma now, it's even worse. Like even though the kids are big, it's still like, when we go away, we have so much fun together, but we miss the kids, because once you have a kid, that's your life, So there's been a lot of sacrificing birthdays. There's been sacrificing having to not really spend Mother's Day, with the kids, and birthdays because we're traveling, stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, we always say that it's worth it because we're doing it for the betterment of them, and we're doing it to take care of them, and so that we can leave behind some type of legacy for our kids to be proud of us, for. And I think at the end of the day, it'll be worth it once, everything is said and done. At least we have that to be able to say, look what I did, whatever. And all of our kids are, like musically inclined and very much aware of who we are and what we do. And that's the cool part. Those are like our first little fans. So the sacrifices have been many, but they're worth it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, no matter what, your kids always have your back. Like they want to see you happy. They want to see you succeed. So they understand later on, like, listen, mom has to do this. You know what I mean? And shout out to you. Happy Mother's Day. Walter also says Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you, Walter.
Yeah. It's funny because I see your pictures on social media, and I'm always like, you're just so sweet, so caring with your grandson and everything. It's absolutely beautiful. So now here it is, you're traveling, you're living life. Life has completely changed. So I wanted you to talk about this picture. I love it. What is going on?
Okay. So the reason I sent you that picture was because when it comes to Allure, right? We have this serious side that when it comes to work and we know that it's time to hit the stage, we got to get our minds together, get our energy together, whatever. We know it's go time. But in this particular picture, this just displays the other side of Allure that I love the most. Aside from the fact that, the talent and all that stuff, it goes hand in hand. But I love the fact that, like I said before, when we're together, we have so much fun together, and we're goofy as all hell. And I don't know, I've never met any other group that, to my knowledge, that's as funny as we are. And this picture in particular was us going to Bow-Legged Lou from Full Force's house. We went out there.
Gosh!
Yeah, we went out there to celebrate Paul Anthony. Shout out to Full Force, our manager B Fine, Paul Anthony and Lou, who just recently lost their father. I want to send our condolences again. But we went out to Lou's house to go celebrate Paul Anthony's birthday. And when he went to go to the store or something, he went away to go do something. And we all just got up and were like, let's go in his closet and just put his clothes on. So we literally went into his closet.
That was the look.
Yeah. He didn't know anything about it until we posted it into Instagram. He was like, you guys are a bunch of morons. And he was laughing his butt off. But we went into his closet and like put on all these outfits, and we changed into like, he always has like these masks. He's a prankster. Right. If you ever met Lou in your life, he's a prankster. So we just did that and just posted it to Facebook and thought it was like, people thought it was so funny. But that's like the one thing that I love about us, you know, like we don't care about how we have fun as long as we're laughing, and we're always laughing. We're always laughing despite whatever.
You know what's great about it is the fact that when you see that picture, right?
Yeah.
That's how the style was at that time. It was the, you know, I remember it was like the big baggy clothes. Do you remember
the
Lee
Zoot
jeans?
Suit. Yeah, like the Zoot. Yes. Oh my God. Freaking Zoot Suit jackets and vests and craziness.
We're telling our age.
It's not. It's way beyond what we know, but yeah.
My gosh. But
so
you know, those are the days when innocence was really innocence. You know what I mean? You can have fun, you can be yourself, you can just do that without judgment, without criticism. Like, unfortunately, that's not the day and age that we live in right now. It's just a very different world. I know we have some questions coming in. I'm going to get to them. So guys, just keep on sending your questions. I'll make sure that we go through them. But we're going to get through this story and then work our way up, because we want to know everything. We want to know everything. The time is short, but we're going to try to get it in there as much as possible.
Absolutely.
So here's another beautiful one. And look at, oh my goodness. What do you think when you see this of yourself at this age? Like, what was happening in that time of your life?
Well, during that time, that's when we got signed to Ron Artest at the time, he was playing for the Indiana Pacers. If everybody knows the story behind True Warrior and Allure, they know the story. But that was during a Sony showcase that we had. And that was one of the still shots that somebody took of me from the audience or whatever. And I remember just being happy, you know, like I remember us going through a hiatus for a while, you know, going through another label change or whatever, and him picking us up. And that was like our first Sony showcase where we got a chance to pretty much display the music that we were recording and that we had recorded. And just thinking of just new beginnings and knowing that we were about to record a new album and all these things or whatever, that was the vibe that I had. Just a calmness and a peace, like, okay, here we go again, but we're ready.
I love it. Look, I keep doing the same thing too. I'm here talking about, I love it. I love it. Like, I'm not there loving it.
Yeah. Oh my God. But that was a good time. I'm
going to go through another one really quick, because I absolutely love this photo, because throughout your whole career, you know what I mean? You're doing great. You have your son. There's so much in life happening. And I know that there's a lot of in between also that's happening as well that you have to face. Like, there's a whole nother side of reality. And I remember in speaking to you, you were saying that you got to a space and you had to overcome depression.
Yeah.
What did that look like? How old were you when you faced depression?
Well, realistically, I was 13. Okay. Like I actually, last year was the first time. Well, actually, I got diagnosed with anxiety depression back in 2005.
Okay.
But it wasn't until like maybe recently when I actually thought back to different things and different situations that I've had or whatever in life, where I realized like wow, I've been really going through this for a while. I just, you know, sometimes we go through things and you don't know what it is. And for me, growing up as a kid, I had such an amazing childhood. My mom was like the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? So there was no real time where I was like a miserable kid or like I was unhappy. But there were certain aspects of my life that were happening that made it difficult for me to be able to like cope with the next thing coming in, you know, or like my dad being active, but then not being active for so long, then coming back, then getting spurts. That in particularly was, I think, was the one thing that used to bother me a lot. And I started like, you know, kind of coming to grips. Like I would notice that during those times, that's when I was the most sad. Or that's when I wasn't happy. Even when the music was playing and the family was around, like that phrase where they say you can feel lonely even with 1,000 people around, that was me, you know? So it wasn't until like a few years back where we were all kind of going through our own little things. I remember the first time I think that I really had like my first real breakdown was with the girls. And we were all going through it at the same time, but you know, different aspects, but the same type of feeling. And we literally had to coach each other through everything. Like we literally had to like on the phone every morning, every night. Are you okay? And you know, just venting and talking about stuff.
Right.
But I didn't realize how much of a problem, I guess you can say, or how much of an issue it was until shortly after that. You know, even with the stuff, you know, I'm not afraid to say, like, even when I was 13, feeling like I didn't want to be here.
Right.
Like, you know, my mom's doing all this by herself. I have my sister who's like, you know, a part of being my backbone, and I have all my cousins and my uncles who play dad, and they play like this father figure. But my dad was like, you know, like I said, here and there, but loved them to death, but still felt like, why don't I have the life that everybody else has?
Yeah.
Both the parents in the house, you know, stuff like that. So that slowly but surely started to really, really affect me in a bad way. And then, you know, just life happening, you know, my aunt being murdered.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
You know, my cousin committing suicide, you know, the ups and downs with the industry, you know, personally things with life, you know, being a single mom, raising her for so long without her dad, things, you know, things like that, you know, just like one thing literally after another. So I wouldn't say that I somewhat overcame it, but I'm learning how to cope. I'm learning how to deal with it, you know, with each day. Yeah.
Because it is a daily walk. It's not something that just starts today and it stops tomorrow. And I think, and we don't talk about it enough, especially with in our community, the Black community. We hide a lot of that because we think that there's shame in getting help, that, you know, automatically you're supposed to be unapologetically strong. Like you're not supposed to feel anything because we're birthed for this. And no, people need help. You know what I mean? These are real issues that people deal with, and they often don't realize how easy it is to fall into depression at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. So how did you realize, because I know I've gone through bouts of depression too, and I didn't realize I was depressed until I was diagnosed as clinically depressed at that time. So how did you know, and how did you cope with it? I know you're still coping with it, but how did you cope with it then once you realized?
I know at first when I first went to go see a doctor and he asked if I wanted to speak to a therapist, at first I wasn't receptive. I'm like, I don't need that. You know, like I was almost like in denial. Like, why do I need to speak to somebody?
Right.
I speak to my friends. I speak to this person. Like, you know, and if that's not helping, why do I have to speak to a doctor, somebody who doesn't even know me? You know?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that sometimes it takes an outside person to come and say, to come and say, well, you know, maybe this is the reason why you're feeling this way, or maybe these people telling you this, you know, is the reason why you can't cope, because you can't deal with the truth. And because when I was younger, I was very defensive. Like I've always tried to be a good person, but there were moments where I would do things and then actually try to make reason of it and say like, well, this is why I did it. And even though it wasn't with malicious or ill intent, it still wasn't the best way to go about doing it, you know? And for a long time, I just felt like, you know, somebody who doesn't know me can't tell me anything. Like, if everybody else that's in my circle can't get it right, then how are you going to get it right? But I understood quickly that sometimes when you have somebody from the outside looking in that can observe how you move and how you speak and certain things, they can tell you like, look, well, you know, maybe you're harboring something that you're not really even understanding that you're harboring. And that's why you're so like snappy and this and that. I've always been passive, never like mouthy and whatever. Now, not so much, you know. Now I get old. I'm 43 years old.
Sometimes so that changes, right?
Listen, so like to me, I feel like every day when I wake up, the slightest thing annoys me. Wow. The slightest thing. It could be kids upstairs banging. It could be somebody outside talking on their phone in front of my window. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you know, but I think that comes along with the territory, especially with everything that's going on with the quarantine, because, you know, you're stuck in the house and you want to be able to kind of like encourage this calmness and this meditation type of vibe going on, but then you still have to deal with the outside noise and everything. You know what I mean? So it took me a while to like actually come to terms with the things that I was dealing with personally, to say, okay, maybe if I start doing this, I'll feel this less. you know, or if I start meditating and praying more and stop being so negative. Because for me, like, dealing with so many deaths and whatever makes you kind of negative, and it makes you feel like, so what, is this all I deserve? Like, just bad news and, you know what I mean? And jacked up relationships and stuff like that. So, you know, like you said, every day is a different walk. Every day you wake up and you're like, okay, how can we attack this today? How can we, you know, kind of like it's almost like chipping away at a brick coating that's over you, you know, like until it's just, you know, it's hard though. It's really, really hard.
Little by little. I'm actually glad that you said that, because I think a lot of people do have that impression that, okay, how on earth can I talk to a stranger that doesn't know me, that doesn't know anything about me? How is this person going to be able to help me about my life? And I can't even help myself, you know? And that's what our mind says. That's the defenses. And if we listen to that, we'll never get the help. So I'm glad that you said that, because that is a reality. Because I remember bouts of mine too, when I sat in front of my therapist at the time. Well, she didn't look like me either, which for me right now, I tell people, sit in front of someone that looks like you, that understands your struggle, that understands your walk. Otherwise, no one else is really going to understand it. And I felt like that with her. So I am glad that you said that. I think it's important. It's crucial that we see someone, take off all the limitations, take off everything that we think, and just get the help. I'm not really answering questions too much, but Norman just have a question also. And, Norm was going to be on. And it's funny because we actually talked about depression not too long ago on his show, and people, and how to, get the help that's needed.
And also, just to add something, I think before we even get to the stage of even getting to a therapist, like I said, when you have your inner circle, like your support system, which is your friends, your family, you have to get to a point where, and this was a problem for me. Not that I didn't believe it, but I had to get to a point where I said to myself, people wouldn't be so hard on you, or people wouldn't, say certain things or tell you certain things about yourself if they didn't love you. Because at one point I started, like taking pieces of my life and saying, all these bad moments that were happening, and saying, okay, I'm just going to eat that. I'm going to swallow this. I'm going to put that. And I just consumed myself with so much of that I just felt like nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives a crap about why I'm acting up. But they did. Yeah, they always did, But I think when you get to that point, you start to be able to rely more on the inside source of the people who do love you and care about you, other than having to go to somebody who has to kind of figure you out. And that was my main thing. I had a therapist before who I felt the same way about. I felt like she was giving me advice, but because she didn't look like me and she didn't live my life and didn't know my particular struggle, I just felt like she was just saying things just to say, like, well, here, just take this information and see what you do with it. Not realistically to help me.
And that's a lot of the disconnect when it comes to therapy, when it comes to getting the help. They're all qualified. Every last one, they do great things. Yeah. But it's almost like, how can I sit down with a man to tell me how to feel as a woman and what I'm going through? He's not going to be able to identify with me. And it's the same thing, Black and brown people, sit down with a Black and brown person who understands your struggle, understands your mindset, because you come out in a different way. You're born in a different way. And the things that we face are very, very different. You know what I mean? Norm says, you've always lived to please everybody else. At what point did you realize you have to live to please yourself? Oof.
That was a question to me?
That's loaded.
Lord. Gee,
that's loaded.
That's a big potato.
That was a hard one for me. That was hard.
Oof. That's a hard question for me to answer, because I feel like I kind of realized it, but I still haven't really gotten to that point, because I'm so big on, put it like this. I feel like I'm at my happiest when I'm there for everybody else, even though it drains the crap out of me. It drains me, like even talking about it suffocates me. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like my spirit is better and I'm a better person when somebody calls me and they're upset. And for some reason, even if I'm going through hell that day, I've had days where I was going through my own personal storm, where I spent the whole night up till 5, 6 a.m. crying over God knows what, because sometimes you get panic attacks and don't even know where they come from.
Yeah.
Like literally just sitting there watching TV, laughing at something, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes later, I'm crying somewhere and don't know why. But the minute my phone rings, it's like, Kiss, I need to talk to you about something, or Akissa, blah, blah, blah. I immediately I click off and just extend myself to that person.
Wow, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, but for some reason, that's always been, and a few people told me, like, that's not good. Like, you need to tell people, like, look, like, I'm not in the mood today, or whatever the case is. But to a certain degree, that's always been therapeutic for me. You know what I mean? Like, to know, like, even though I was going through this, I was still strong enough and still whole enough to say, well, let me be an ear to this person, because they just might need me. So what if it was the other way around?
Yeah.
And I'm also funny with also reaching out. Like, I'll go through stuff and keep it to myself, and then people find out after, like, why didn't you call me? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like, I really don't know. So I think I'm still learning that. I think now, as of lately, I've gotten used to like, even telling my daughter, like, look, I can't parent today. I can't be grandma. I can't be mom. I don't want to be, you know, like, but I always say, like, please don't take it to heart or whatever. Like, I love you, but I really just need time to just wake up, maybe just go out for a walk and just do things for myself. And she'll even say, like, look, Ma, just get out, go and do something, like, get out my face, you know, like, whatever. So everything's a learning process, you know, like, the me time was never a thing that was always first for me. It was always everybody time.
Yeah, but you got to have your time, because when you're giving and giving and giving and no one is pouring back in, you become depleted, and it just adds. My pastor told me, I love my pastor Karen. She gave me the best advice ever, and I have extended it to everyone that I meet. Because I'm telling you, I had the same issue as you. It was, and I didn't even realize that it's people pleasing, but I just didn't know how to say no. But I had to learn as I go to set boundaries. But she said that we're like teacups, teacups in a saucer. And you know that you're getting depleted if you keep on pouring from your cup, you're not going to have anything left. We're supposed to pour from the overflow, which is what's in our saucer. And if we pour from that, we'll never be depleted. And as soon as you start to pour from your cup, you can feel it. And that's when you start to get drained and you're tired. And mentally, you're just like, oh my gosh. That's when we're in the wrong place. Yeah. So it's good, but I'm glad that you know it and you're working on it, because every day is a step in the right direction. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, because it's so funny. A lot of people won't do that. And this is how we continue to stay bound,
Yeah, but it's always good when you have people in your life. Like, I know, like, the girls, for instance, they're two of the main people, and a lot of the time even Norm, like, people that are around me all the time. They'll be like, look, like, if you need me, call me. Like, you should have called me last night. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And they'll always tell me, like, look, you just have to, like, relax. Like, it's going to get better. They always encourage. Yeah. They're always telling me to breathe. That's the one thing. Because oh my God, like, it'll be the slightest thing that takes me over, Candace. And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm saying, like, this shouldn't be making me feel this stressed out. But because, like I said, there's always just one thing after another. It always feels like it's just always storming, And then when you get that little bit of sunshine, it comes another cloud. So, but like I said, I'm always grateful for that. I have my sister and my brothers, and I have a really, really strong support system. But at the same time, you have to consider that people are going through their own storms, and they need their time, Like, I know Aaliyah goes to her stuff, she needs her time. Alicia goes to her stuff, she needs her time. My brothers and my sisters, we all have our own personal things with ourselves, and we know what they are. But when it comes to, wanting to be there for everybody, we all get that we all can't do that all the time. And even when there's a death or whatever, like, just recently, Aaliyah lost her aunt and her grandmother. Like, literally almost back to back. And the stress that I had from and I'm pretty sure Alicia feels the same, the stress that we had to not be able to say, we're going to get in the car, hop on the train and go to Brooklyn and go be by her side, because of everything that was going on. They weren't allowing outside people. That was hard for me. Very hard, because, we've always been there, like, at every funeral to, everybody who passed away in family. So for me to sit here and hear her hurting like that and not...
And you can't be there.
Yeah, like I can't even talk about it because I literally get choked up because like we're so used to no matter what's happening between us, like we're sisters, we fight, we go through our stuff, but that's one thing when something's going wrong or when we know that we need each other, we always try our best to be there for each other. And that to me, that's like one of the most devastating things that can happen when you
Wow.
can't be there for somebody who you love like that. You know?
I love the love that you have for each other and how you protect one another. Because you hear all the time about groups and, you know, this person doesn't like that person and this person is feuding with that person. But I love the fact that you are able to keep your relationship intact to be so strong. How do you guys do that? Is it just talking every day? You just make sure no one comes between that? Because we need to learn that as women, that it's okay to have those friends that we love dearly. We fall out, we get back together.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've kind of always had that. Like we've always had, we've been tested a lot, you know, by different people coming in, coming out, whatever. But like I said, no matter what's going on, I think the thing that other than God, it's like, you know, just truth, you know, just really being true with one another. When I'm messing up, they're quick to tell me like, look, what you said wasn't right, or how you reacted to this. Sometimes you gotta rethink that. You gotta calm down. You know, and even if we don't like it, we still say, okay, that's not cute. We're quick to say it. And like we don't that's the thing with the three of us is that whenever any of us is messing up, it's like, okay, we can't let the person just slide and think that that's okay. So how will we be friends if we're not being real with one another to say like, okay, it's time to fix this. We got to talk about this. And sometimes there's days where we don't even talk. We go, okay, we're going to let it go. We'll let somebody else deal with it, or we'll just let each other just calm down, you know? But that's a relationship that it's hard for me to put into words. I love them both to death. And even though we're not perfect and there's no such a word, we understand that, but we still try to be there for one another regardless of whatever's going on. That's important. That's one thing I'll always be grateful for.
I love that. I love that. You guys started out so young, and here it is today. You guys are still together. You're still strong. You're still touring the world together, and it's a beautiful relationship and friendship for the rest of us women who are looking on, and for those who can't even hold a friend for more than 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So this is a testament that this is what that love looks like. This is what that sister love looks like, and you're there for each other no matter what, you know, thick and thin, like, I got your back, girl, we're gonna get through this together. I think there's nothing greater than going through sisters like that in life. Like, we all need those people in our lives, and you've been blessed to have that. You've also been extremely blessed by this little look. I watch your videos. Your grandson, let me just tell you, every single time I turn it on and I see the amount of love that you have for him and he has for you, like, he is so excited. I wish you sent me a video. He's so beautiful. And I know when you see him and you're there with them, that should take you to like a whole nother place, because you're truly been blessed by these two. Oh, look at you. Okay, you gonna have me up in here crying. Oh, that is such a blessing. There is such a blessing. You're such an amazing.
Talk about cherry on top.
Oh, Grandma, I know. I did not expect this.
I've been holding it the whole conversation because there's so much of what we've already discussed that gets me there. But it's like, that's, like I said, cherry on top. That little smile. He drives me insane. He drives me crazy. Oh my God, he drives me crazy. He drives me insane. He literally an hour ago, our road manager Jared came over for a few minutes or whatever, and we were sitting here talking for a bit, and I gave him a piece of brownie that my daughter made, and we were sitting here trying to figure out the computer and figure out our stuff to log in, and he's such a ninja. This kid, will run behind you and soft toe it where you won't even know that he's there. And he literally grabbed a hold of the brownies and ate a large majority of it. And he's not supposed to have nuts. I don't even know how he found it. And it's, little things like that just happen right before you have to like settle down and kind of get in a vibe. And it's like, oh, he drives me nuts, Candace. But that's like the love of, when I tell you the love of my life, I have never, like, I thought my daughter was bad. They always say when you have a kid, that love is something that you can't really explain. But a grandchild, oh my God. It's like that love on steroids.
I know, and that's why I'm crying with you, because I felt it coming. I was like, oh God, I gotta jump back on.
Oh my God, because I tell you, like I said, it goes along with everything that we talked about. You go through life, and there's been times where sometimes those same thoughts and those same feelings that I had when I was like a young kid come back, and they're scary, But then you have to you have to put it together. And when I look at his face, I look at my daughter's face. It's like, okay, get it together. They're watching, so to speak, but oh my God.
Like they need you. And that's why.
And vice versa. Because there'll be times where I'll be sitting here crying, or I'll be like just in a mood where I'll just be sitting still, nothing's even happening. And he just comes out the room, gives me a kiss, hugs me, and then walks away with his tablet. I'm like, what was that about? But at those moments it was needed, like he's a joy. That kid's, that's my little Care Bear, my little romantic man over there.
He is, because honey, those kisses are real.
They are. Oh my God.
He'll just grab you, and it's such a beautiful relationship. And you love to see that. Well, I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna see how long you last without crying, and then I have to jump back out because I'm in the background crying too.
It's like I always hold it until I see his face, and I'm like, oh God, here it comes.
And I know it's coming more, so I have my tissue ready on this side. I hope you have yours ready.
I don't, but I'm gonna go get a roll of paper towel. I'm gonna need it.
You might need to. Because this relationship is so dear and it's so beautiful, and your love for him is what's gonna carry him through this life. Because we don't know what that future looks like. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want you to tell us, what are the challenges? What does it look like when you're dealing, and what have you learned in dealing with an autistic child? Life can be cold outside, but I see that you're giving him so much love, and you just have him so prepared. Speak to the mothers that may be out there struggling and going through that as well. And I'm going to disappear. If you cry, I'll be back. Got your back. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh, gosh. Sheesh. I think for me, just, even with the initial shock of knowing that he was coming was a thing that was like, holy crap, this is happening. And I went through this whole crazy thought process when he was first born, right before he was born, actually, where me and my daughter had a discussion about even keeping him when he was born, because we were in the process of actually thinking about even giving him away, because during that time I was going through my own personal hell, and I'm just like, so I'm supposed to deal with this and then now raise another kid? I'm like, what's this? And at that time I was actually holding off on having my own, because of my own personal dealings or whatever. And when I tell you that it must have just been a thought process that was happening from shock and whatever else, because the minute I saw his little face, that thought, when I tell you, went out the window. It went out the window. I'm like, there's no way in hell that I'm giving this little man away and not, being able to see what this is. And I think about it all the time. Even when he's driving us nuts, I think about like, oh my God, like, what if I would have given him away?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to experience that face, that smile, that one thing that even when I'm falling apart keeps me together. Like, I think about it all the time, and I'm just like, oh my God, thank God I didn't do that. And then then we got over that storm. Then finding out that he was autistic at 2 years old, when they started noticing that he wasn't saying certain character words. Like this, they say at a certain age you're supposed to have like, I think, 20 words in your vocabulary, something like that. And he actually started saying hi and mommy as early as like almost probably 6 months, because he was repeating stuff. Like, he would hear him say little things here and there. And then at the time, one day I was coming into the city from Brooklyn, where I was living at, and I was with my boyfriend at the time, and we were on the train, and the baby, he was in the stroller, so he was sleeping, and I'm just like, oh, he's sleeping. So I looked at the stroller, and the top was down because I had him covered, and I just see the thing like going crazy. So, oh, he's waking up, he's kicking his feet, and I pulled the top of the carriage back, and he was actually seizing. I'm thinking he's just waking up and just kicking his feet. He was having a seizure, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't, because I've never seen it in person before. That was like the first time, and so I'm like, what the heck is going on? So the guy that I was with at the time, he's like, is he having a seizure? And I'm like, he shouldn't be. Like, what? So I start losing it. I couldn't breathe. The lady across and this is just my luck at the time. The lady that was sitting right across from me in the train, she was a nurse on her way to the same hospital that I ended up having to go to where my sister was.
Oh my God.
And she's like, what's going on? So she got up and she's like, oh my God, he's having a seizure. She turned to the side and I'm there like just freezing up. I didn't know what to do. So we rushed him to Lincoln Hospital. My sister worked at the time. She worked in pediatrics, ironically enough, in the emergency room. And I went straight to her and she called her, her doctor and her team, and they started working on him right away. But that was something that we started dealing with from the time that he was 6 months up until he was like almost 5 years old. He had febrile seizures. And we slowly but surely noticed that the speech stopped. He wouldn't say hi. He would just kind of look at you and smile. There wasn't any detection of like motor skills getting better or whatever. We're just like, okay, like he's a happy baby. He laughs at stuff. Like he literally would laugh at things that were actually funny. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's fine. And then at 2 years old, we had him evaluated and they diagnosed him autistic, nonverbal. Of course, with the hopes that he would speak one day, but he's 11 now. And I know in my heart that he's going to speak because this kid sings every song and every soundtrack of every movie that he watches. He hums the Law and Order theme song. Okay.
Oh wow.
Like it's serious. Like he loves movies and shows and stuff. And you see him like acting out stuff. His first thing that he acted out was King Kong. He cried during King Kong when he died. Sweet. Yeah, like when King Kong got shot and fell off the building, he was hugging the TV and rubbing it like my buddy's dying. Like, so we know that he identifies. Highly with emotion. You know what I mean? Like he knows if you reprimand him, he knows that his feelings are hurt and that's not control. But of course, we know that he still hasn't, he still hasn't grasped the idea of what I'm about to do is wrong or what I just did, that was bad. He doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But he's like constantly happy. He's so smart. Oh my God. Like the kid is so smart. It's not even funny. Like he beats us to the punch before we even know it. And we're like, okay, we know we have to get ready for this because he might just know like his tablet. Autistic kids have these things with like electronics, like they're smart. They know how to go through everything. Right. I remember the first time Norm probably laughed. When Norm first met him, the first thing he did was give him a 2-second hug and swooped his phone out of his back pocket and went straight to Netflix.
Oh wow.
And Norm's like, what the hell? Yeah, extremely intelligent. Extremely intelligent. And like he talks back, like if I get upset with him, I go, don't do that. He goes, like, and I'm like, are you cursing me out? Oh, and he's half Jamaican, by the way. Yeah, so you already know.
Oh, come on. Okay, so I have we're kin. We have that now.
He's half Jamaican, so he's spicy. He is extra spicy, but he's the sweetest thing in the world. And we're working with him. Every day we try to say different words and different phrases, and you hear him trying to say it, but he just can't articulate the words. So now there's we have to take him back to another evaluation where they're trying to see if they're going to perform some type of surgery that deals with the muscle or the tendon in his tongue or something like that. Okay. I forget what it's called. But it's supposed to clear his speech. One of my friends had it done to his child who sounded like he was speaking underwater. And after that was done, like a week later, he just wouldn't shut up.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared, but I'm hopeful that if we do decide to make that happen, that,
He's just so sweet.
Yeah, he is. Look at him. He's coming over here right now being...
no, he can come. Let's say hi.
You want to say hi?
I'm going to put this down so we can say hi.
Come this way. Come say hi. Ma'am, come this way so you can come next to me. You want to say hi to Candace? Come here. Step up. Come here. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
He just gave himself a kiss. You blow beso? No, to Candace.
Hi.
That's all. By the way, bless her. Bless
How are you?
You say hi. Look, you see her? He's busy focusing on my gummy bears. You say hi. Look.
Hi.
Thank you.
My God.
Okay,
God
take the gummy
bless
bears.
him.
He just used me for my gummy bears. It's okay. He's a mess.
I know that it has to be such a joy to have him. Oh my gosh.
He's a funny kid. He's so funny. Like he already has character, but yeah, you know, it's hard, you know, because I'm just like, you know, I go through all these emotions and I'm just like, I just want to hear him talk. You know, I want to hear him say, yeah, you know what I mean? And that was like one of the hardest things. Like when I had my first breakdown about that, like I think it was years after, like when they first told us, it really didn't hit me the way that I thought it would. But I'm just like, Jesus Christ, we go from febrile seizures to now he can't speak to now we don't know if he ever will, and blah, blah, blah. But then as I started seeing his progression, I'm just like, this kid's going to talk, you know. But I had like a really bad breakdown one time because there was one day where we were just going through it. He was tantruming like crazy. Sometimes he'll tantrum for like hours at a time. I'm talking 3-4 hours of him just wailing. And, you know, the frustration for an adult, for a parent or a grandparent to not even know what's wrong.
Yeah, and can't communicate fully to try to solve it.
I literally just screamed, talk to me. Like I literally screamed, talk to me, and then felt bad that I did that because I didn't know what else to do, and I just started crying. And all he could do was come over and he literally put my head into his chest and gave me a hug. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, who are you? He's definitely been here before, you know, but he's such a beautiful kid. I'm just like, you know, as hard as it is to deal with it, even with everything that I've been through already, I'm glad that it was me, you know, that I guess was chosen and, you know, my daughter to like kind of go through this process. Because I know that once he comes out of it, it's going to be crazy. He's going to be like talking.
You need each other. It's like you said, you know, he needs you and you need him. So would you say that at this point, even though you're giving so much of yourself, you're giving to everyone around you, is music sort of a gift to yourself?
Yeah. Music is like one of the biggest things that helps me cope with a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And as terrible as this quarantine time has been, like I'm grateful for it because it kind of gives you the fire under your butt, so to speak. Like I know with me, I'm very funny about like, I'm a shy person initially. That's one. So like, unless I'm with my girls doing certain things, you know, like I don't feel comfortable, like, you know, like writing without them or doing certain things, even though we all do it, like we write in our journals and stuff, but it kind of gives you a push to be a little bit more creative within yourself, to be able to say like, you know, write more, you know, express these things, put it down on paper or whatever. You know, and we've had what, 3 months now so far, going on 4 months that we've had all this time, you know,
a lot of time.
Yeah, way too much time, you know. So it kind of gives you it's a blessing within the curse, so to speak, to be able to like learn new traits, learn new things about yourself, learn how to better yourself, you know, and work out and just get healthy, you know. And I'm the worst at that because, you know, with me, like there's so many distractions that it's like, okay, I'm supposed to do crunches now, like, you know. So trying to get all these things into perspective
in place,
oh my God. It's insane, you know, because so much time is dedicated to him. Now we have remote learning, so we have to do his homework, you know, and turn it in. And by the time we do all that stuff, it's like trying to fit in things for ourselves. So, but the thing with my family is like we've always learned to have fun within ourselves. Like I don't go out like that. My fun is usually at home.
If with your family.
Like, well, if you guys see videos of me, I'm always home with my cousin, and we're making up these crazy videos, and you know, we're laughing, we're having fun, we're having a glass of wine, playing games. You know, that's what we do. You know,
and because that's what life is. You're supposed to enjoy family. You're supposed to enjoy friends. If you're not enjoying that, then you've missed it. Because it's not always about going out to the next place or the next club. It's loving and appreciating the people who are right there in front of us. Because sometimes people get that message when it's way too late.
Way too late.
You know, and we don't want to do that in life. So what's next? See, I see, I'm a spot putter, you know, like you could, is it possible that you could song so little bit?
Oh, Jesus.
You know, bless our soul.
How How about this? We were talking about doing another interview with the girls, right?
Okay.
So let's save it for that because the way my asthma is set up. Did you see me coughing earlier today when you had me laughing? And that's the honest to God truth. Any other time I'd be like, okay, I'll do a chirple or something. But I'm like,
I got
this region right here is like terrible. I'd rather wait till we have the girls on so that way we could give you the full blessing because that's when you're gonna really get.
I mean, all of it. You're
gonna get all of it and then some. All of it and then some.
So what's next? What's next for Allure? What's next for you? I know that you're breaking into the acting world on a whole nother level.
That's been something that we've all always wanted to do. There's been like different projects that are coming out, and again, it's always been a thing with timing and stuff like that. But Chanel Red actually came to me one day, like last year sometime, saying that she had a project she was working on aside from music. It was a short film. And she wanted me to play a character. So I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But prior to that, I actually got to give a shout out to Juanita Caring Hearts. She actually had a production called The Final Deceit that me and Norm was in it. And they had somebody who had pulled out or whatever. She couldn't depend on the person. And she reached out to Norm and said, look, I need you to find me somebody or whatever. So he asked me and I was like, and at first I was like, oh, wait, a play? Because I'm like a scaredy cat. I don't like, I'm so serious. Like, but besides being shy or whatever,
really?
Like when we have shows, we have this thing where Lalisha will go, come on, girl, waddle. And we start waddling like penguins. They're supposed to get the nerves out. I'm usually not fully nerveless until like probably the third song. I'm like about to throw up after I get nervous. I get stage fright like crazy even to this day.
Really?
Yeah. But we did the play The Final Deceit with Juanita and her husband. They wrote the script and it was focused on domestic violence. And just like how relationships can be based off like, having a partner who doesn't fully support you and whatever. And it was a really, really powerful message. And we did that play and we got really, really great reviews from it. We're hoping to actually go back and revisit to have it recorded so we can put it on DVD. I think it's worthy of that because it's a really strong message that people need to like really just be more aware of.
Yeah.
And then, so like I said, shortly after Chanel approached me on that, and she has other projects coming that she wants to involve all of us in, and we're hoping to do like soundtracks and stuff like that. But that's always been an itch for us. We had like a couple of situations before where Leah did something years ago with Tretch from Naughty by Nature. I cannot remember the name of the movie to save my life, but she played a little part in that. So we've always had it, but I think it just matters on when you get the right opportunities and the right people, to kind of like solidify things. But the next thing is Pressure, and they're working on the soundtrack for that. So hopefully after all this is done, we can get back in the studio, record some songs for that, and just get back to recording and maybe throwing out an EP, another album. We're excited. We have things in the works, and we're just like hoping that this too shall pass, and we can just get back to who we are, because it's just it takes away like
it's a lot.
It is, and we're dying just to be able to just have some type of normalcy for a little while to get back to Allure, because that's important. Like if I can't have that, then you might as well just throw me in the trenches because I'm over. Like that's all I know
we can't do that. We need to have that voice. We need to hear that. We need to make sure that that's a constant.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not going to go nowhere. I mean, we're tough cookies. We're emotional crybabies, but we're also tough cookies, and we know that this is what we love and this is what we want to do. So, like we said, until Jesus steps in himself and says, "That's it."
Yeah.
There's nothing that anybody can do until it's gonna make us stop.
That's awesome. I think I have a promo of that I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it to play, but if we do get it up, I'll make sure I'll throw it up there so everyone can see it, because we want to look out for it. So you're going to have to make sure that we know all about it so that we can put it out there, we can promote it, we can talk about it, because we want to know, what I mean, everything that you're a part of. And we're definitely going to be keeping you in prayer with your grandson. That's a definite. So what would you say? Would you say that getting into the industry so young, you would have waited till you were older, or was that the right age? Because I know that there's a lot of young people that are at that tender age and they're ready to get into the industry and they want to do it, what would you say to them at that age, and to parents too? Because I mean, they're essentially the ones that's going to have to deal with all that. But before you answer that, I'm going to see if we can get up this promo, and we can play it. Let's see if we can see it. We're gonna try to. Yes, I love it. See, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is what we need. This is exactly what we need. We need you to keep doing this.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun. Like I can't wait for like the three of us to like really put something out. Like everybody's been asking about like unsung and stuff like that, you know, but those things have to be generated from the masses, I guess, you know. But I just saw Trish Soups just said we need a reality show. We've been saying that. And there's this thing that we always say, like, oh God, imagine us having a reality show. Like we probably couldn't even do it. Because we're so like real with how we say things.
Yeah.
Like if we meet somebody and don't like you, we're gonna be like, it shows like all over our faces. Because like, you know how people are, Candice. Like people,
I know,
and they just like hee, and they're condescending, and then they're whatever, and they think that you don't notice. So I'm like, I see you. Like you're not hiding, you know. So that would be, to say the least, very interesting.
I don't know how to hide it either. I don't know how to hide. I think what I've learned since I moved to Florida, it's very different here. The people are different, and back in New York, you know, it's easy for you to be like, "No, I don't do you."
Yeah.
I don't do you.
Yeah.
Here, they take it as aggression. They take it as being aggressive. So it's almost like you can't authentically be yourself. You have to put on this whole person because they can't handle just that raw, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting dynamic. So I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but you know what? I think it would be good because we look at the shows that we have now. You know what I mean? Look at the reality shows that we have now. This is what our young girls have. This is what our young men have. You know, it's showing them a direction that they don't need to go in. You know,
Absolutely.
Put something else on that. Not only are we, as your generation, are going to understand it, but the younger people too. Like this is not okay. You know?
Yeah, and that was our thing. Like we got approached plenty of times to be, you know, oh, would you guys do a reality show? Would you guys do this? And our main thing was and again, this is not, we always say it's not to take away from the fact that we think that there's no issues. Like we have problems between ourselves, but we work them out. We talk, we do whatever. Right. But there's a plan behind that, you know? Yeah. And we can't necessarily relate with how some of these shows have issues and how they come about handling
feeling it. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we might get into an argument or not see eye to eye, and voices might raise. We might say certain things. There'll be a couple of cuss words, and not that we're like cussing each other out, but just how we speak, like out of anger. But then you have these shows showing like the minute somebody starts arguing, they're picking up a glass and throwing it.
It's a fight.
So we always said, if we're gonna do anything based on reality TV, and let's just say it happens to be an episode where Laura's going through something, we want it to be a lesson. You get what I'm saying? Not something like, oh, they're about to argue, they're about to fight, and it's gonna be something ratchet. No, we want it to be something where they say, like, look, three sisters are not seeing eye to eye. We have an issue, and now we have to figure out how we're gonna, find a solution to that issue. Not let it be that every ending to every solution has to be a fight. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm just like, we wouldn't agree to it, because we don't want to be a part of the ratchet.
And I agree. You don't want to put something out there that's going to spin you in a whole negative light. Exactly. Listen, we are out of time.
Okay.
It has been a joy talking to you, but before you go, because I can't let you go, I enjoyed this. We got to do follow-up number 2.
Yes, definitely.
But it's going to be a straight through. So I want you to take the next couple of minutes. I'm going to disappear again. I like the pop up, pop down, I'm going to disappear. And I want you to talk directly to someone right now that may be going through depression, may be dealing with some type of mental illness, and they truly feel like, I'm at the end of my rope. No one can help me. Where do I go from here? You've been down this path. You're still finding yourself in it all, but you're stronger. And I think we go through things in life, not just for ourselves, but for other people, because you can't have a testimony without the test. And you're qualified right now, So speak to us, take us out. I'm going to jump back in after a couple of minutes.
Okay. Try to get through it as easy as I can. But coming from somebody who, from a very young age, dealt with even thoughts of suicide myself. It's scary talking about it, because I never thought that I would ever be that person. But, in life, we go through trials and tribulations that sometimes we feel like we can't dig ourselves out of. And, me feeling that way, having a family member that took his own life, and even recently having someone who lost someone dear to them, to the same situation, you have to be able to check on your friends. We say this all the time. You have to check on especially your strong friends. We have people in our lives that we see every day moving and they're grooving, and you think that there's nothing wrong, but deep down inside, we're broken, we're scared, we're indecisive. We don't know, some people don't know where their next check is coming from. Some people don't know if they're going to keep their job, especially with this quarantine thing going on. This quarantine situation is going to either make or break a lot of people. And I know I've been tested, so I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to need to have somebody to basically lean on, during this time, especially when you're already going through depression, and whether it be bipolar, ADHD, whatever you're going through. The main thing I would say is just to pray. That'd be 1. 2, pray. 3, pray. Keep on praying, and just make sure that you have a very, very strong support system. I'm grateful that I have a strong support system. Even when they get on my freaking nerves, they're there. I'm grateful for my family, for my kids, my BKS1 family, my girls, everybody who's in my life. I just feel like we just have to learn how to look deeper into ourselves and take accountability for the things that we do in life. And if you're feeling some kind of way and you're feeling broken, or you're feeling lost or feeling hurt, just don't hold it inside, because that was my main thing. I held so much inside. And like Candace said, like sometimes people wait until it's too late. And me being 43, losing my mother at 44, this year, gearing up towards my birthday in September, it's been really scary, because I'm just like, okay, I went through a hysterectomy that really put the nail in the coffin for me, knowing that I can't have kids anymore. That was the last thing that fed me even more insecurity to add to the depression that I was already dealing with. So I think that it's very important to not do what I did and harbor up these feelings, then you have to talk about it. Find somebody or a few people that that you can trust to kind of say like, look, I need you right now, and I need you to be here. I need you to help you get through this. Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you're gonna make a decision that's gonna really be something that's gonna really ruin not only your life but a lot of people's lives around you that love you. So just please, like I said, continue to pray and keep your close ones around you, and just keep the faith that everything's gonna be okay. I hate that saying, but I have to start saying it to myself. You have to believe everything's gonna be okay. I'm grateful for my little circle that keeps me together, because although even right now as I'm speaking to you guys, I feel very broken about a lot of stuff still, but I'll stop there because I don't want to get to going, because you know me.
That's all right.
But I appreciate
give you a big old cyber hug.
I'm hugging your back.
Hugging you, girl. It's
I'm a cry baby girl. We'll be here for 3 more hours.
That's okay. You know what? From one cry baby to another, we could cry together, but we're gonna get out of it.
I know.
I don't have no sense. So
listen, we always have our wine.
Exactly.
I say that all day. We always have our wine, and that helps out.
Exactly. Jesus. And the most important thing is you're not in this world alone. Like, you got a tribe of sisters. You got your girls there. You got me now in Orlando. I'm pulling my own hair out. TikTok has my life going in a whole nother direction.
Girl, you and me both. Good deal. You and me both. It's hilarious, but it keeps you grounded. It keeps you like, hey, it's funny.
Yeah.
And I still have your lip gloss, by the way. I wore it the other day.
And that's what we need. We need to laugh, and we need to unravel, and we need to have some people and some friends in our lives that can help us unpack.
Yeah. But I think when people do what you just did, like as far as just being transparent, which I appreciate you doing that. I think when we see more people, like we said, the ones who look like us.
Yeah.
And in this situation, me knowing you all this time, you've been on the show, we've talked, we've read your book, I bought your lipstick, and I would have never known, you know what I mean? And people always say, like, you serious? They always say to me too, like, you're going through that? Because to them, I seem so, but you show people what you want to show people. But I think I've always been open in how I felt about life and different situations. And I don't want anybody to feel sorry. We're all going through our own personal struggles, and we have to just get through them. So I appreciate you, creating the platform to be able to allow the transparency to be shared, because it's needed.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being so open, because it's real people with real issues that people can actually connect with, not to put on a show. Like, if you're hurting, you're hurting. It's okay to say I'm hurting. It's okay to say I need help. But you are absolutely amazing.
Oh, wait, I just read. Oh, she just did it to me. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
No, I just read
You are amazing.
No, I just read a comment from my mom's best friend is on the chat, and that just threw me off. I love you, Doris. My mom's best friend, Doris. Her best friend, like, that I knew as like second mommy growing up. And I just read her comment.
Doris.
I don't know why. Whenever I see her name, I lose it, because that was like my mom's ace, like, best friend. Like, she
because you feel it. You feel it. It's like your mom is there with you.
It takes me back to my apartment with the waterfall wallpaper. Like, where'd you get that from? But it just takes me back. It just takes me back to a good place. Whenever I see her name and I see her face, it's like, that's like mom right there to me. So.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Doris. Hi, Mom. Look,
God, I gotta get it together.
Yes. It's okay.
If you think I'm bad, wait till you have the other girls on. You're gonna get a towel. I'm serious.
You know what? It's okay. It's all right. You know what? It's beautiful. Hi, Doris. Nice to meet you. I'm so glad that you were on with us. Thank everyone that's been on with us. I hope you absolutely enjoyed this as much as I did. Now I gotta go clean my eyes up.
I know.
Look. Get dressed to go into the living room.
Oh, girl.
To go to the
I'm literally about to go take a shower to put on something else just to sit here and watch TV. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. To sit outside, but it's all good. It's all good. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. You're going to be in my thoughts, my prayers, everything.
Thank you, Candace. I love you too. We got to get the girls on. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
I know. All right.
We need more girl time.
A lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Sure.
We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.